So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Melanated Opinion. Here we have four beautiful Black women who is going to be sharing their views on love, life, mental health, self-care, relationship, spirituality, and so much more. So tune in and see what we got to say. I'm sure you will have some things that you will agree with and maybe don't agree with, but we'll see. So I'm Crystal.
I'm Takara.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Shanita.
Okay, and so today we're going to be talking about relationships, but even more specifically, would you date outside of your race? So who wants to go first? I don't want everybody to jump. Who want to go first?
So should we say where we stand on it? Because I'll go first. I think interracial dating relationships is I think it's perfectly fine. I'm interested in it. I have done it before. I would do it again. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, do you have a preference? Like, is there anyone a specific race, or just you're open to all the colors of the rainbow?
Wait, I want to know what Melissa and Shanita, what their take is on it.
Well, for me, I'm with you. I have dated once outside my race. Well, it depends on like what race you're talking about. But I've dated a Caucasian guy. My preference would be Caucasian or Mexican. I like Mexican. Pretty much anything. But I do have some do's and don'ts. So it depends. Like, I want someone who is comfortable with me and my family and vice versa. Like, I don't, get any type of negative vibes or anything like that. And I want them to be themselves. Like, if you're trying so hard to be another race and you're this race, then that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm with it.
Melissa?
I'm not with it. And I will say that I feel like I've changed my mind to just like not be with it more recently, just because I feel like once I have kids, the other person would never understand what I done went through since I was a child, just because I was Black. Like, they're never going to understand as much as they want to. Like, we can tell them as much as we can, but honestly, they would never completely get it. And I feel like I would rather be with someone who fully gets it rather than not. And they're kind of watering things down to our children. And, it's not going to be good in the long run.
Okay. And
Crystal, what do you think?
Oh, I'm with Melissa. I'm more of like, I think I'm with Melissa, but I'm not close. So I would rather date someone that looks like me. But if someone of a different race that had melanin was to approach me, I think I would be open, because for me, it's part of it is about a look. Like, I like melanin. I like people with like melanin in them. So if you're Caucasian, I'm probably not going to be attracted to you. Like, I may look at you and be like, oh, okay. 2 seconds, you may be like, oh, he's nice looking. But when I think about hugging and being next to him, I can't visualize that as a Caucasian person. I need melanin somewhere. Preferably Black. And for the same reason Melissa said, like, I want to be able to relate. Like, if I say, what is it? Like, you told Hoppo to beat me. Like, everybody needs to know what that means. I don't want to have to say what movie that came from. You just need to know. And if I'm using slang, you just need to know. And like Shanita said, I don't want the person trying too hard either. So for me, it's more about attraction. So yeah. So what were y'all reasons for what y'all said?
Well, for me, it doesn't matter. And I guess I wanted to comment on what you and Melissa said. I've been in relationships with people that look like me and they still don't understand me because they came from a different background. So if they was raised differently from me, we always butt heads, because for me, it's like, it don't matter what race you are. Yeah, when it comes to specific things you won't understand, but it's a lot in the same race that still don't understand and don't care to try. But if you choose me and I choose you, then if we're supposed to be for each other, then I feel like you'll figure it out.
I like that if you choose me and I choose you versus like, you know, I can understand where Melissa and Krista are coming from. There are just certain like cultural norms or understandings that we have that are unspoken, you know, and it's kind of like you just give a nod or a laugh and you just get it, right? And if you're dating somebody who is, you know, Caucasian, they might not understand, they might feel left out. I can understand that. But at the same time, I don't necessarily have any specific reason why, although I do find myself attracted to Caucasian men. I see many that are like attractive and I'd be like, oh, you know, I would talk to him. I would date him. And as far as like the children go, I mean, I can also see your point on that. Like, you know, in raising our kids, we have to give them certain truths that just exist for us that don't exist for white people or Caucasian people. You know, but again, I also think what Shanita says is that if they are there and they're willing to try and they're not like pretending to be something that they're not, but they're authentically, you know, caring and try their best to understand. We can't fault them for what they have not experienced and for what they don't know. But if they are open-minded, you know, I feel like anybody could be given a chance.
I think they can. And well, let me ask Shanita this one question. Like, I don't know if you can remember, but I'm curious, like when you were dating someone that looked like you and you said they couldn't really relate, like, can you think of an example of like how and what way they can't relate? Because I'm just curious, like how, because I can't think of an example.
For me, it's, you know, like my mom was always big on holidays and, you know, you get together and you do things. And for me, it's like, okay, you have a certain role and this is what I'm supposed to do. And, you know, you still supposed to spend time with just your person. For me, specifically, this person, it's like he didn't get it. Like when I tried to have conversations with him about different things, when I tried to get him to come to my family, he didn't feel like those things were important. But the things with his family is, they have like many family reunions pretty much every weekend. So it's like if they go together, they all sleep in the same hotel room or 2 hotel rooms, like they pile in there. And it's like, they don't see a need to go visit other people. Like, it's just them. And then when I tried to tell him of different things that we did, you know, different traditions, because his family didn't do that. Like, they don't even tell him Merry Christmas. They don't buy him gifts. So he got a little of that from me. Like, my family was buying him gifts and, you know, it's like he didn't even get it from his own family. So he didn't understand why some values were more important to me, because he didn't get that. He didn't get the affection. Even though they are together, they're not together. So, and another thing is, like, if we would have had kids, it would have been an issue for me, because they believe in, you know, the kids go in the back room or the kids go outside and all the adults in one room. No, like you got to still check on the kids. Like, you know, it's too much stuff going on. So that's what a lot of things he feel like, oh, they'll be all right. You know, you worry too much. So it's kind of those type things.
Okay. What are you going to say, Melissa?
Oh, I think I was going to ask Mr. Carl and Shanita. I was going to say, so I guess on my experience, I kind of feel like some Caucasian women ruin it. Like for me dating outside of my race, because they just push it over the edge. They're like always trying to like one up us. And I think I just kind of got tired of it. And like to me, it kind of says like Black men who date women like that, why do y'all, it kind of, you know, hurts my feelings, because why do you allow them to do that? And I was going to ask Mr. Carr and Shanita, like, what's y'all experience with that? Like, have y'all experienced what I'm saying?
Meaning like one up us, like in what way?
Like they're like, I guess more so they automatically think just because of Black guys walking past them, they're gonna like them. Just because of the Snow Bunny movement.
I mean, I think it's a preference, right? Like, unless your reasonings are like, unless their reasonings are like white women are better and, you know, they'll treat me better and they'll do what I want them to do type of thing, then I think it's different. But I think everybody is allowed to have their preference. You know what I mean? Like, if they are just genuinely attracted to snow bunnies, that's their business. They probably wasn't never gonna work for me no way. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't their type to begin with. Okay. Now, again, there's also, if they are dating white women and talking down to Black women, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Black women are this, and that, and they carry too much attitude, and I don't want no Black woman because that would be an issue, right? But if it's just their preference, I don't really, doesn't bother me.
And I think what Melissa's kind of saying is that we come across a lot of people that date outside of their race because they feel like their own race is not good enough. I think that's what she was going with.
Okay, so I mean, that would be like slightly different if they make the white woman they're with feel like, oh, Black women are beneath you, that's why I chose you, you're so much better. Yeah, that's an issue. Like, but really that's an issue for them. That's an internal issue, because obviously if they're Black, they have a Black mama, Black siblings, Black sisters, why would you, and these are the people who raised you.
Yep. And I will also say I came across Black females that think that about Black men, that like they don't intentionally don't date Black men, and it's because of issues that they have as well. So I think it's like Black men and Black women, like for both people. So it happens, unfortunately. But I think it's like what you said. If that's your mindset, then you were never for me. Even if you would have stayed within your race, you still would not have been for me. What were you gonna say, Shanice?
And I think a lot of that comes back to my point, what I was saying about some people of your own race don't understand. I agree with y'all, but I also feel like part of it is they're not wanting to do the work that they were supposed to be taught growing up. Like, you're supposed to be the head of the household. You're supposed to do these certain things. And I think for white women, they may be able to get away with it a little bit more than with Black women, because we're going to stand our ground. We're more independent. We're going to say, hey, this is what you need to be doing. And if they're not ready to grow up and be that man, then they're going to settle for a lesser person that won't require as much. So I think where some of that is going for, it's probably coming from that.
Yeah. And with that, it just made me think, do you think that roles still exist? Like, do you think that most people still go with, the traditional roles or the traditional mindset?
I do, but like Melissa, like I don't think so. Like, you will get a couple of people, it's kind of rare, and maybe that's why I'm still single now, because I'm kind of in that traditional role sense.
And you're like, you're not going to settle.
Right, because I'm like, if I'm gonna do all the work with you, I might as well be by myself and still do it.
Yep, I 100% agree. Yep. So so what do y'all think about roles? Like, Shanita's more like, yeah, I want the roles. What do y'all think? Are y'all kind of like, I want the roles too, or are you like, let me figure out something different?
I don't think I'm traditional, like in the way of like, when you say the roles, you mean like you do the house stuff and most of the kid stuff, and he goes and works and takes care of the home. Is that what you mean when you say roles?
Yeah, but I'm still kind of like opening doors, you paying most of the bills, like that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with doing like cutting grass, but when it comes down to, making some of the decisions, I still expect you to take a bulk of it.
I think because I've been taking care of myself for so long, I think it would be hard for me to let go of some of that ownership, I guess. So the person would have to be all the way right in order for me to. So I was saying that, because I've been taking care of myself so long, and because I've been very independent, there's nobody else here to take care of me. I have to go to work. I have to pay the bills. I have to do the laundry and, find somebody to cut the grass because I ain't doing that. But I got to figure it out on my own. And so it's kind of like she said, I might as well be alone until somebody is really until I can trust them. For me, it's more of a trust thing. I would fully have to trust you in order to release those things to you without opinion or, without having to have a say so.
Yep, I agree. And I'm more like, I don't think those roles exist anymore for most of the people, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, I'm going to do things on my own term. And when they get with someone, it's kind of like, well, I kind of like what I like doing too. And I need you to do all these things before I do this small thing. And so it's kind of like nobody
That was me. That's what I just said. I do. I need to see that you're capable.
Right. And so the same thing is happening for guys. Like guys are like, I need you to meet this expectation before I do the minimum. And so
bare minimum.
Right. So it's like, I don't know if these roles are going to exist, because I'm still like, I'm kind of like with Shanita with some things. Like, I think the trash should be taken out by a male. And it's kind of like, I don't want to have to ask you to take the trash out. If I have to ask you to take it out, then I could be back from the trash can by then, in my mind. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Melissa?
I feel like in the past, like more recent in the past, like a couple of years ago, just from what I see in my generation, like a lot of guys in my generation would be okay with me going to work and them sitting on the couch playing a game all day, house still dirty. Like they will be 100% okay with that. And it's just like, I see a lot of them being okay with that. And it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I personally don't like it. I don't know what's going on. And I guess it's just, I needed to start looking at people who are okay with, doing the more traditional things. But just from what my experience, they definitely are okay with women taking care of the household now.
So do y'all think that other races still have gender roles? Or when you say that you think the roles don't exist, is it just for people that look like us? Or do other races still have gender roles?
Yeah, what I saw a TikTok not too long ago. I think they were doing interviews and they were interviewing, mixed races. And the people that weren't Black, like all the other races that weren't Black, they were saying like, how do I explain it? Basically, they have a set schedule, they have roles and stuff like that. And other people who were Black, they were saying that they would like let stuff slide. Do you know what I mean? It's like when they have set stuff, it goes, you know what I'm saying? It works.
Yeah.
But since we don't, it kind of don't work.
It's true.
I feel like white couples get married younger. I think that and it could be, because they're set up, to do these certain things by their parents or whatever, because they have money and stuff. But I think they buy houses as young couples. I think they get their dog and their kid and their cars as young couples. And I don't see that as often with African American young couples. I mean, yes, from time to time, but it's not the way I see it with Caucasian couples. So it almost makes me feel like they do believe in like traditional roles a little bit more, or, because they come from families with maybe more disposable income and, they help get them started on their businesses or, buying their first house or whatever it is that they're doing. That they do kind of start out younger than we do, whereas we kind of have to like pull up our bootstraps and go to work and literally earn every single thing that we have. Do you know what I mean? So it takes time to do that.
And that's a good point. Well, let me say this so I won't forget. But and that may be why so many Black males choose to go with Caucasian females because they have less stress. Like, they don't have to work hard for a lot of stuff. So they have the freedom to be able to relax and just have fun. Whereas us, we're always thinking like, okay, what can I do to get ahead? I have all of this stuff on me. I need help. So they're needing them to be more present. Whereas them, it's all fun and games. And they probably don't require a lot because their family is still inputting finances into them. So that could be a reason as well.
Like when I think about that, for me, it's kind of like when I think about like athletes dating white women, black athletes dating white women, I feel like, well, they already have money, and those white women that they are with, chances are they do come from someone that already have money, or they are in a situation where they're not exactly struggling, like maybe someone black who they would get with, who may be better off than a lot of people, but still are not as well off as a lot of white women are. And it may be, less stress, but it may only be less stress because it's like the black woman is more like, how can I help myself and, continue to help my family? Like they're still in like the survival mode, although they're not in the everyday survival mode like they used to be, but they're still like, I have things that I have to do. I don't have time to just, be free and meditate all day. So, I mean, that is a point I never thought about, but I guess it can be a factor. I didn't mean to cut you off, Melissa. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, it's okay. I was going to ask, well, from what I see specifically, it has a lot to do with their schooling and the neighborhood that they grew up in, because at our school, they didn't necessarily teach us about credit. They didn't teach us about, they taught us, oh, you don't need to have a credit card, even though you got to have credit to get a lot of stuff. So I just kind of feel like they were taught all of that stuff. So they already knew about stocks, credit, things like that they wanted us to be behind on. They just wanted us to be behind on. That's why, we don't know about a lot of stuff like that.
Yep. I think that's a good point. They are raised like with probably seeing their parents, like you said, buy stocks or have businesses of their own. And so they're kind of grandfathered into these situations, where they don't have any, like they're set up to succeed already.
Okay.
Because they've been given the tools and the knowledge and all of that.
Like that reminded me of a question. So when y'all date outside your race, let's say you're dating a white guy, do you feel like his mentality is different than a black guy's mentality, as far as like, like because of what we were saying, the way he was raised, like this white guy may not be in the survival mode, and he, may have time to give you more attention, as opposed to the black guy is still in his version of survival mode and the white guy is not. Do you feel like you kind of get that when you're dating white guys?
No, not the ones that I date, because I purposely, don't look for someone who is like that, because we won't understand each other. So for me, I want someone, even if they were, my color, it was just, you still are a person. So it depends on how they treat me, their personality. So if I pick up on anything like that, that'll be more like a red flag for me. So I wouldn't date anybody that's like that. Because I feel like it'll get to the point where you'll feel like you can control me and dictate, what I can and cannot do because you have more money, or you came from a better family, or because, I'm a darker complexion that I can't get certain things. So that will always be an issue.
Yep, I 100% agree. Do you think any of that, Takara, when you're dating, someone white?
I think I've only ever dated 2 white guys, and the one white guy, he didn't have money. So he was like real regular. He was trying to get where I was trying to get,
But when you went out,
like I was super young.
Did he pay when you went out? Like, how did that did it make you feel like he wasn't gonna pay? Like,
no,
I need to reach.
No, I never felt that. Like I said, it's been a while. I don't think I ever felt like I had to like step up and pay for us to, eat or anything like that. And I will say he was also more active in like making plans, like for us to do stuff. Like I don't feel like I had to like nudge him and say, oh, I want to do this, or can we do this? Or, he would always be like, let's try this, I saw this and I think we would like, this would be fun.
And it sounds like maybe he was a little more genuine and didn't want to play the games. Because in my experience, sometimes, a lot of times, Black guys want to play the game of like, let me see how far I can get before I have to actually take her out on a date. Like, let me see if I can come over and Netflix and chill. Let me see if I can meet her at the park. Like, it's just the game that you have to go through sometimes before, you're actually at the point where they're like, I want to go out on a date with you. So yeah, it sounds like he didn't really give you that. And of course, that's one person. Like, we can't speak for the
right.
But I did have a question about that. You said he didn't really have that much money, but then when you kind of started describing some of the things y'all did. So just to get clarity, he wasn't broke. He just didn't have like abundance
money. Right. No,
okay.
He wasn't broke. But he wasn't like set up, by his parents. You know what I mean? Like, he worked just real regular, just like I did. And we weren't doing extravagant things, they were just like regular things, going to IHOP for breakfast and, just stuff like that.
But that's all that matters. And to you, Crystal, I don't care what color you are. You can be purple for all I care. I'm not paying for a while on dates.
So what would you do?
I would sit there and pretend I did not see that ticket.
So have y'all did that? Because I will reach for my purse, because I feel like at the minimum, if he's not gonna pay, I will reach for my purse, but that means that me and you are friends. Like,
we're not that either.
Right.
You mean pay for yourself, right?
Yeah. Myself.
Oh, okay.
But you have some people that will pay for both. But I'm like, I'm not doing that. If I won't even reach, because yes, I would have money to pay for it. But no, if you ask me out, you're gonna pay, and that's just it. Yeah, and we're gonna have that clear before we even get to the date. So even if you joking, I'm not gonna laugh, and I laugh a lot. But when the bill come, I'm dead serious.
So what's the weirdest situation you've had where someone was like you felt like they were waiting on you to say something?
Okay, prime example. It was this guy, and I guess I didn't think anything of it. He worked at my bank. So apparently he must have had access to my account and could see how much money, because once we went out to eat, he asked me out. Once we went out to eat, he was like, well, I know you about to pay because, I know what's in your account. And I'm like, first of all, why are you in my account? He was just like, oh, I'm just playing. I know you got money. And he was just like, you paying? And I just sat there. I'm like, no. You can be washing dishes, but I'm not paying. So we had drove separately. So at the end of the day, I could have paid for mine and left, but he ended up paying for it because I guess it was a test for him. And like you said, if I would have gave in then, he would have always did it. We never went out on another date, but that was weird.
Yep. Have anybody else had any like weird experiences when it came to the check? Well, I have a story. So mine was before we got to the check. Mine was when we were outside in the parking lot. Red flag. He's like, oh, I've been having problems with my account lately. I was like, what are you saying? So we need to leave? I don't know what you're saying. He said, no, I'm just letting you know now, before we go in, I don't really have it because I'm having problems with my account. So I'm not really.
Why are we going in?
Right. So my crazy self went in. And I think I got a couple of drinks and I bought it myself. But yeah, I was like,
Like, he didn't eat?
No, he did not. He didn't drink.
Oh, so he didn't have any money.
What?
I don't know if he didn't have any or he was just choosing not to. I feel like that.
No, he didn't have any money.
Though.
Because
I feel like it was a test because we did go out later and he did pay. So I feel like that was more of a test.
Crystal.
Right. Well, how did you get to the second date? I'm still at the first date.
No, we kept talking. Yeah, for me, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Y'all don't have any stories. I am not the only one with stories who have did crazy stuff. I don't believe y'all.
Oh, no, I've done crazy stuff.
Me too, but
I will say though, with the exception of just about one person. I am very like, I know right away whether you are for me or you are not for me. And I don't pretend. I do not play any games. There's no point in us going any further. That's it. So I don't know how I don't
I feel like I kept talking to him, and for me, like, I'm fine with that. Y'all don't ever look back on y'all life and be like, I remember that time I did such and such crazy. I have a lot of those
all
moments.
the time. But for me, really,
Yeah.
like I said, it only is ever one person. But because I could cut a person off real quick, like, you know, because I guess I just don't even make friends with people who I don't see it for.
It depends. Now, with that situation, I don't know if we could have been friends. And I don't even think I would have went, because I wouldn't have wanted to eat by myself while you sit here and watch me. Like, I feel bad.
Awkward.
Like, you know,
Well,
like
I
a
didn't
little
eat.
child
Like,
that's
I
begging
just
for
had
food
drink.
or something. But still, so was he talking to you? Did he look like he was thirsty?
Not thirsty.
That is sad. I don't know.
No, I don't think he. I don't know. I think because I knew I was gonna pay for myself. If he would have looked like he was thirsty, I probably looked past it because I knew I wasn't gonna offer to pay. So
Well, and here's the other thing.
Who asked out? He
That's
asked you
what I
out.
was wanting to know.
I don't even remember. I don't know if it was more like let's meet up or let's go out. I don't remember.
So that's the other thing. I'm at the point, you know, I'm not 20 years old. I'm about to be 40, right? I'm gonna need you to be financially stable. Like, I understand the struggle because I've been there, and sometimes, you know, I still struggle, and that's all right. But I'm gonna need you to be able to buy a meal.
If you're
Be
ready
able to what?
today.
Huh?
Can you
No,
repeat what
I'm
you
gonna
said?
need you to be able to afford to buy a meal.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum.
So what if it was someone that you were like, we're just friends? Like he still has to buy your meal?
See, I don't just be making friends, so I don't know.
I have friends that he, like, specifically one guy, like every time we went out, he always paid for it. Even, you know, after like we was gonna just go our separate ways, we went out one more time and he still paid for it. Like, I tried to put the money on the table and everything. He was just like, pick your money up before it blow away, because we was outside, but he still paid for it. So for me, because I've dealt with so many people, I get clarity before. Like, even if you joking, nah, so this is on you, right? Like, it is not going to be no misunderstanding once we get there. So I have learned a lot from my past mistakes. But I can honestly say I have not had to pay for my own meal in those situations. I guess because I stand my ground.
And I think for me, I'm like, if we're friends and I know it's not leading to a relationship, why should I expect you to pay for my meal if it's not
Well,
going to
if
be a
y'all just
relationship?
friends, that's it. Like, nothing else.
Yeah. If you're friends, that makes sense. But I mean, I also, you know, you are the kind of person that, you know, you have guy friends, whereas I don't really have guy friends like that. I mean, I do have one. He doesn't live here, you know, but if he did, I imagine if we did go out, you know, he would pay. Actually, I feel like I have treated him before. I feel like this particular person I have treated before, but it's after like having known each other for years, you know, and he came here to visit me, you know, and he did take me out, you know, and pay for many things, and then bought him like Portillo's or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
Melissa,
I mean, yeah, I've treated, but not initially.
yeah, but I want to know what Melissa thinks. She hasn't said anything. She's over there
No.
quiet. Like, can you back me up? Like, where we going with this?
Why do you do that? I feel like you did that on purpose.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I have had some regrets while I was in a relationship with someone and they had no money. Like, basically, if I wanted to go out, I was gonna have to pay for both of us. But I would say that's the only time I ever had to do that, though. Like, usually the other dudes that I talked to or went on a date with, they paid. And yeah, I definitely regret doing that, but it was every time when I paid. So,
but you know what?
yeah.
I also feel like age has something to do with it, because most of the okay.
What?
Listen, no.
No, you can finish talking. I just disagree.
No, I do feel like age has something to do with it, because maybe someone in your age group, they might be in college or, just working a part-time job or, their situation, like they really might be doing things to try to like better themselves. And so they don't work full-time or they, they're just kind of making ends meet. But I feel like at this age, them ends should be pretty close together.
It depends. Go ahead, Melissa.
I was just gonna say, I personally feel like if I'm able to pay for my car, my apartment, and be fine and go out when I can, they should be able to do the same thing. And I shouldn't have been okay with him giving less if I can pay for all of this stuff.
Yeah. And to that, I want to say I was maybe like 19, 20. I was talking to an African, and he was actually in like a group home, but he still worked. So never once did we go out that, I had to pay. He had way less money than I did, but because of his background, he was taught that he was supposed to pay. So he would always pay. The only time, and even when I tried to, he would never allow me to. And I feel like he kind of set the standard because that was the first person I started dating that did those type of things. So I actually liked it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what you're supposed to do. But then I got a lot of backlash, where they were saying that I was spoiled and, I'm not going to ever get the Hallmark movie picture that's in my head. But I mean, I feel like it's possible. He said no, Melissa.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree that it is possible. Do I think it's a high possibility? Maybe not. But I feel like you can find a needle in a haystack. It's possible.
Yeah.
Especially, if that's what your desire is, like anything is possible. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a high, I think it just would take, I don't want to say it'll take time, but it's not a lot of people like that. But yeah, I think you can find that person. Yeah, I agree. So I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff, not just dating, what you dated outside your race. We've talked about what did we just get to talking about? Like dating roles, like when you're in a relationship, who pays? They left me hanging with my situation by myself, but it's okay. But it's our truth, and we all had a good time, and we all were able to share our own individual experiences. So, and that is it for today. Thank you for watching The Melanated Opinion. And you can look us up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we will see you next time.
Oh, do you want to give them the email?
Oh, can you give it to them?
The email is themelanatedopinion@gmail.com.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.